Are we being lied to? The complex maze of the whole Abrego Garcia case has so many layers we can peel back, which I don't think the simplistic narrative from either side is doing a lot of justice. I want you to watch What Borders Are, Tom Homan said to Kaitlan Collins, because it establishes a few key facts for the debate.
The other judge here, the federal judge in Maryland, Judge Zinnes, has been criticizing the government this week for what she says is doing, quote, nothing to return Kaitlan Abrego Garcia to the United States. Are you personally aware of any steps that have been taken to facilitate his return to the United States?
Look, I think he's a citizen of El Salvador. He's in El Salvador. He's home. He's an illegal alien with a final order of removal. He's a MS-13 member, which is now classified as a terrorist. So we removed an illegal alien, MS-13 member, who has a final order of removal issued by an immigration judge to his homeland.
So should I read that as to say nothing has been done to bring him back to the United States? That's what it sounds like.
I can't speak to everybody in the administration. I can just tell you what my stance is. And I think we did the right thing. I think he's where he should be. And the order of withholding that everybody keeps talking about, order of withholding is you set aside because he's a designated terrorist, which order of withholding is meaningless, I believe, according to the attorneys. And look, even if he came back, people think he's going to be released and go back to, no, he's going to be detained. And he's going to be removed as per the order of removal, either to El Salvador or another country. So this person has an order of removal. He's seen 2 different immigration judges, and he's been ordered deported. And that's exactly what happened.
Now that part is important because remember, Kaitlan Abrego Garcia crossed the US border illegally back in 2011 when he was 16 and has been in a kind of legal limbo. The first time his case was even coming up was back in the first Trump administration in 2019, when ICE and the government did not further litigate a withholding removal order that granted him temporary protection from deportation on the grounds that he would be prosecuted in his home country. Now, by the way, we show you the story behind the mainstream media spin, so please be sure to subscribe to Millionaire Mentor to join the conversation. Now, the truth is a lot of those circumstances have changed. Even though he's not a convict, this latest deportation is something even the Trump administration has admitted was in error, since the withholding removal order still protected him. But at some point, you've got to stop losing sight of the forest for the trees, because don't forget that we're coming out of 4 years of the most disastrous border and immigration crisis perhaps ever, and that's regardless of political affiliation, just the facts.
But of course, you are someone who is at the center of the immigration fight and deporting people who are here illegally. This one individual.
How is that the center of the immigration fight and all these? It's just, you know, Kaitlan, no one asks these questions about the proper vetting of the millions of people the Biden administration pushed across the border, at least in this country, illegally. No one's concerned about the vetting then. All of a sudden now everybody wants to be concerned about the vetting of people that even be deported. I mean, it seems like a one-side show, but I stand by the fact that I think things were done right with his case. He's an MS-13 gang member. He has a final order of removal. He is a designated terrorist, and he's back in El Salvador, his homeland. And anything beyond that, we'll let the courts settle on it.
And that's because even if Kaitlan is brought back to the US, as senators like Maryland's Van Hollen are trying to do, he simply won't be set free on the simple grounds that he's an illegal immigrant. Based on the original withholding removal order in 2019 by Judge David M. Jones, was on the basis of suspected persecution in his home country, which was overrun by gang violence at the time. But that's not what El Salvador is today, having gone from the homicide capital of the world to now being regarded as one of the safest countries in the Western Hemisphere. So where are his worries coming from? From the gangs that no longer run the streets in El Salvador, or the government that has rounded up every gang member they could find? By the way, you'll notice that none of these questions include whether it's the United States that is legally or morally beholden to keeping a foreign citizen inside their borders, especially when they crossed over illegally. Watch Scott Jennings, for example, taking this CNN panel to task for trying to muddy the waters of this debate on precisely this ground.
I actually am not even all that worried about all the things that we have found out in the wake of the investigations into this guy. What I am worried about is that, and I'm going to grant you, he has a withholding order and he should not have gone to El Salvador.
And they admitted it was a mistake.
But even if you grant that, he has an adjudicated deportation order, and you have Democrat public officials falling all over themselves trying to get him back here without thinking through the next step. which is he's literally going to be deported somewhere else.
But not to
But
a
my
prison.
suspicion is when they bring him back, they're going to try to keep him here. That's the next part of the game.
I want to
We
bring
have
degrees of things, right? There's a different punishment for a speeding ticket versus a different punishment for something else. So you're saying that what he has done, which is, okay.
Come to the country illegally.
Okay, so he deserves to be in an El Salvadorian prison.
He deserves to be deported.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
No one is debating that.
prison?
Radical agreement, Scott Jennings. Look, one other thing. Listen.
When did he enter the country? 2011?
He entered the country. Actually, that's a good question that you should ask. He entered the country around 2011.
Okay.
But in 2019, which was when Donald J. Trump was president of the United States, that's when he was found with those MS-13 gang members. He was arrested at the same time that they were. That's when he got his stay. That's when he was put in a process where he was checking in with ICE every year. That was under Trump. Trump could have deported him in 2019.
Broad timeline. The average American looking at this case, a lot of conflicting information. Okay, I believe some, I don't believe. An illegal alien came here in 2011, and somehow in 2025, he's still here after having been through the court system, after having been arrested with lots of people in his car, after having all this evidence.
Deport him?
He just did, and now everybody's mad about it. How did an illegal alien take advantage of our system for 14 years?
Why didn't Donald Trump deport him?
Now there's another interesting angle to this development, which is El Salvador's president, Bukele, apparently unwilling to have Abrego Garcia return to the United States. And it's not just because he suspects he's a gang member, but also simply because he's an El Salvadorian citizen. Sounds simple enough, right? He even lightly mocked US senators going out of their way to visit El Salvador and get him back to the country. He wrote on X, quote, "Now that he's been confirmed healthy, he gets the honor of staying in El Salvador's custody." And so far, it seems like both Trump and Bukele are on the same page on that, with the US president recently posting a picture of Abrego Garcia's knuckle tattoos with writing on the top that interprets the meaning as MS-13. And while it's not our place to say whether he's innocent, the fact that he was caught alongside actual MS-13 gang members and also has these eerie tattoos is certainly not good optics for the case. Watch Judge Janine from The Five blast the Democrats for their selective empathy for a suspected gang member while having admitted and justified a massive immigration crisis that has led to these cases to begin with.
And in addition to that, the father of the year, Abrego Garcia, that a United States senator who never called Rachel Morin's mother, who was a constituent of his, is going to see El Salvador. The man he's going to see, his common law wife, we don't even know if they were really married, filed two, not once, but two orders of protection against him for assaulting her, for punching her, scratching her, ripping off her shirt, and beating her. So we've got domestic violence, MS-13, court orders, and not only that, he didn't even come into this country through a port of entry. He's one of the gotaways. He was too dangerous. He knew he wouldn't have been let in.
Now, this is shaping up to be a lot more complicated, especially now with the judicial branch fighting to take some control from the executive, especially when it comes to deportations. But let me know in the comments what you think and share this with someone that has an important voice to add to the debate. We will certainly be keeping a close eye on this developing story and putting it into the necessary context many people from each side of this debate are missing.